Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's episode we're gonna talk about the 10 things that you should know before applying for Emirates. Now this is an episode for the ones who haven't started the process yet, don't really know where to start, don't really know what to expect once they decide to work for an airline, or maybe just for the ones that are curious about what you need to know before applying. So let's get started. Hi guys, my name is Carla. I am from Romania and I used to be a cabin crew for 4 years. I worked for Emirates Airlines. I used to live in Dubai. When COVID started, I stopped flying for good. Emirates was an amazing experience. It gave me a lot of unforgettable memories. It helped me grow and I learned so much. So if that's your dream, if you want to become cabin crew, if you want to fly, this is for you. Let's get started. Number one is that you will need to relocate. That means you will need to leave your loved ones behind, your home city, your home country. Everything that you know, you will have to leave it behind. For Emirates specifically, they only have one base, which is in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. And for some of the crew, that is a difficult choice and it is not easy to adapt. Dubai is a very different city than most. For me, for example, the cultural shock once I arrived, it was huge. I remember I arrived at 5 a.m., I believe, and I landed, it was summer, I got out of the airport, just a huge heat wave hit my face. The first night was the hardest for me because I arrived home, to my new home, and my flatmate was not there. She was on a flight. I didn't even know who she was. It was difficult. So you need to keep that in mind. You will have to leave everything behind and start your new life. Number two, you will share your new home with other people. Emirates provides accommodation, which is amazing. You don't need to pay for anything, rent, bills, nothing. Everything is provided, which is amazing. But you will share your accommodation. Emirates has 2-bedroom apartments, 3-bedroom apartments, and 4-bedroom apartments. Depends on your luck. You share your house with more or less people. This is the tricky part because you have no idea who these people are until you arrive. You don't know what nationalities they are, you don't know their cultural background, you don't know their age, you don't know their position in the company, nothing. And this can be a little bit scary, but for me personally, I took it as a challenge or as something exciting to look for. But yeah, it's not easy. I was lucky with my flatmates the whole time. Also, flatmates change. Your whole career, you're not gonna have the same flatmate. Maybe you will move, maybe they will move. It's never the same person. For me, it was a funny story because when I arrived, Emirates didn't have space in their buildings, in their accommodations. So I had to stay in a hotel for the first 3 months. It was a hotel apartment and I only had one flatmate. It was funny because, like I mentioned before, I arrived, at 5-6 a.m. I got into my apartment, her stuff was everywhere. I got to my room, I started unpacking. I was super tired. The next day, I wake up. We freaked each other out in the kitchen because I wake up and I go to the kitchen to make my coffee and start the day basically. I scared her bad. She didn't even know she was gonna get a new flatmate, which again can happen. You can be the flatmate that is already there and you wake up with a stranger in your house, or the other way around, which was me. I mean, I knew I was gonna have a flatmate, but she had no idea when I was arriving, if I was arriving, nothing. Oh, yeah. We ended up being friends. It was fun, but it was quite scary. Your flatmates, you never know where they're from. So you need to prepare that you could be living with a stranger, which could become your best friend or not. And another thing, the people that you live with, They don't have the same position as you in the company, not necessarily. So you could be living with someone that has been in the company for, I don't know, 7 years, or you could live with someone that is a new joiner like you and is just starting training. For me, I was lucky because my first flatmate was in the company for about 3 years, I believe. She had a lot of tips. She took me under her wing, basically, and I was super scared, and she kept telling me like, don't worry, it's fine. You're gonna get through training. You're gonna, start flying, and you're gonna love it. That helped a lot. Number 3, you need to do your research. For example, you chose Emirates. You need to check what requirements Emirates has. For different airlines, there are different requirements. For example, for Emirates, your smile is very important, and I believe this is for every airline. They have very strict, they call it image and uniform standards. Your hair needs to be a natural color. So for example, if you're brunette and your hair is bright red, they're not gonna accept that. If you decide to have your hair blonde, you will have to dye your hair every 2 weeks or as often as possible, so your roots are not showing. So for girls especially, it's quite tough. Let's say your nails need to be perfect all the time. It's not allowed to have crazy colors or crazy length in nails. Only red and nude colors are allowed, or clear top coat on your nails. These are requirements that you need to research before you apply and decide if you are willing to live your life like that, because some people are just not cut out for it, or some people are not willing to give up their, I don't know, crazy hair colors. It's up to you basically to decide if you're willing to sacrifice these things in order to work for an airline. Also, there are different requirements, as in your height. In Emirates, I believe you need to reach 2 meters, 220 with your arm lifted. Yeah, you need to measure that, because some requirements, you can adjust, but some requirements you cannot do anything about it. So if you don't reach, for example, 220 with your arm up, there's nothing you can do. Also, in Middle Eastern airlines, in Emirates especially, tattoos are allowed, just as long as they're not showing. I remember I did have 2 tattoos when I joined, and I remember they did ask me for it. You just have to declare it, be honest, tell them where your tattoos are, and you'll be fine. For me, there was no issues. They still hired me, so don't worry if you have a small tattoo somewhere. As long as it's not showing with the uniform on, that's fine. Number 4, during training, your whole world revolves around Emirates. Now, this might sound a bit scary, but for me it was actually exciting and it was interesting. During training, it's very intense. You are in training college from morning to evening, almost every day. It is a lot of information, so you need to focus only on Emirates. Trust me, you will have time to discover Dubai, to make friends. You will make friends in training college for sure. You really need to focus on the training, because it's a lot of information on different subjects, from medical service to security training to standard procedures. Everything that you need to know once you get on a flight, you will learn in these 2 months. So you really need to pay attention and you need to focus. Also, there is a lot of exams, so you need to study as well. But don't worry, if I could do it, anybody can. And speaking about training, number 5, you will train in a simulated aircraft, which, trust me, helps a lot. You will have, they call it mock-ups, which means you go on an aircraft, it's a simulated aircraft, where you practice what you learned in class. Your procedures, your emergency response, service even. That will help a lot, because you've already been in an aircraft and you've already done the things that you're supposed to do on an aircraft. So it's not just theory, it's also practice. Don't worry, flying can be scary, especially once you find out how much you need to know. but these trainings in the simulated aircraft, they really help. Number 6, you do need to swim. Now, don't think that you need to do laps or nothing like that, but during training you will have a part of it which is called ditching. What you need to do is basically you need to slide from the aircraft in the water, which is fun by the way, and you need to swim to the boat, to the raft. You will wear a vest, a safety vest, so that helps, but you do need to know how to swim or not be scared of it. It's only one day of the training. If you're not confident enough with your swimming, don't worry, you will wear a vest like I said. I did know how to swim, but my physical condition was not good, so I get tired very easily. So don't worry if you're not the best swimmer, you just need to get through this day. You just need to have the basics of swimming. Number 7, during probation, which is for 6 months, you cannot apply for leave. At the beginning of this video, I talked about leaving your family behind, leaving your loved ones, your home country. Once you get to Dubai, training is gonna be hectic. Training is gonna pass like that, you're gonna start flying, but you'll also probably be homesick. For me, homesickness was a real issue. I missed my family a lot, I missed my friends, even though I made new friends in Dubai, but yeah, it wasn't the same. During this first 6 months, after you get hired, you are not allowed to apply for leave, so you cannot go home. Again, you should consider, because it's not easy. Some people don't make it, some people leave after a month, after 2 months, after their first flight. Being homesick is real, and being a cabin crew is not for everyone. You need to be fit for this life, or lifestyle. You need to really consider that once you leave, you are not going to be able to go home for 6 months. After that, you're free to apply for leave whenever you want, and don't expect to get it whenever you want it, but you can apply and you can go home. So another thing to consider and to keep in mind. Number 8, every year you will have exams. Once you finish training, those hectic, intense 2 months, you're not done. So once you finish, you get a license, which is valid for 1 year. That means that before that year ends, you will get rostered for, we call it SCP. Those are the exams. It's 2 days, again, intense, where you basically just go and get your exams done. It's computer-based exams, but you do need to study for it, because even though you've been flying, you've been doing the things that you learned on a daily basis on every flight, there are some procedures that you're not gonna remember. For example, the emergency procedures, you never want to use them. Maybe you're not so confident taking an exam on them. You will have to do this exam every year in order to get your license renewed. So yeah, it's constant learning and studying. Number 9, you will start as an economy crew. This is the position that everybody is hired for. So you start as an economy crew, or a grade 2 as we used to call them. After that, you can move to business class, first class, cabin supervisor, and ultimately purser, which is the higher position in the chain of command with regards to the cabin crew. The highest one on the airplane is the captain, of course, but in charge of the cabin crew is the purser. So you will start as a grade 2. And when you start, there is something important called priority, which means when you start, your priority will be the lowest. But at the pace that Emirates is hiring, even now after COVID and everything, they started hiring a lot again. That priority changes within 2-3 months. You will start getting higher and higher and higher, and it's very, very satisfying to see the benefits that you start getting slowly. And don't get discouraged by this. It's just a system that has been working for years for Emirates, and it is a good system. Don't worry, you'll get to get your flights or your positions sooner than you expect. And number 10, you never fly with the same people again. This is something that a lot of people are surprised about. Emirates has a lot of cabin crew. That means it's very rare and very hard to fly twice with the same person. So each flight, you have a new set of crew. And you just meet before your flight starts. 2 hours before your flight starts, there is something called a briefing, where you meet each other, you talk about the flight, the specifics, the destination, everything that you need to know before the passengers come on board. If you've made friendships in training college, or if you already know someone in Dubai working as a cabin crew, it is gonna be hard, not impossible, but hard to get to fly with them. You can bid for a flight, that means request for a flight. You can both request for the same flight, and sometimes it happens, sometimes you do get it. For me, it never happened. In 4 years, it never happened. Maybe I didn't try hard enough, but yeah. Also, a bit of a funny side of it is that sometimes you will fly with the same person twice. You met that person on a flight, you see them again in your briefing room on a flight that happens, I don't know, 6 months later. This happens quite often, that you see that person, you both say hi, and you both have no idea where you know them from. And it's very common to have this conversation that, yes, I flew with you, yeah, I remember we did a flight together, I don't remember what it was, I don't remember where it was, but yeah, we did the flight together. So that's always funny when it happens. Yeah, fish memory for cabin crew is a real thing. For me, it happened so many times that I was on a flight, I was landing into Dubai back, and I had no idea where I was coming from. Like, it took me a bit to remember what destination I was coming from. So yeah, fish memory, I guess this is bonus number 11. Fish memory is real. You will forget things, you will start to mix up memories. I didn't find a cure for this. I just took it as a funny story whenever it happened, and yeah, that's it. I hope this video helped you to gain a little bit of insight as to what to expect before you apply for Emirates, or any airline for that matter, because yeah, these things are similar to other airlines. I hope I was clear with what I said, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate, leave them in the comments. Soon I will probably make a Q&A with most common questions that I encountered. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, like, you know, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys soon.